Get cool stuff for what you were going to do anyway. Drink beer. With Buy Beer, Get Gear from Labatt, you can just snap a photo of your receipt and upload it to the website to rack up points for exclusive merch. Get points for every purchase, whether you're grabbing a pint on draft, a case for a party, or a tall boy at the stadium. Any size, any product, anywhere you buy Labatt. Buy beer, get gear. Sign up now at rewards.labattusa.com.
Now, stand back for your own safety.
Steve, what's up?
Congrats on the win.
Thanks, Steve. Where Paulie at?
Here we go.
I'm checking out. I will respond to you, but I'm done for the week. I'm done.
Steve is my favorite part of the show. How's that?
I like that. Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Check for sound.
Pleasure to be on there talking with Paulie, man. He's a good dude.
I'm an idiot. I'll just shut up and let you talk. I was trying to help.
And shout out to Tupac.
3, 2, 1, and
This is Orange Nation.
Well, hello, Paulie and Steve.
With Steve Infanti and Paulie Sibilia.
Check it out. Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you with us alongside Paulie Sibilia. I'm Steve Infanti. It's a Monday edition of Orange Nation, game day edition. Cuse out in Las Vegas to take on the second-ranked Houston Cougars. We've got Mike McAllister on with us at 12:30 to talk all about it. 1 o'clock, Fran Brown, his live weekly press conference. And then at 1:30, we'll be joined by Chancellor Johnson. He covers the Houston Cougars for the Big 12 Conference. Plus, we'll mix in your phone calls throughout at 315-437-7644. What's up, Paulie?
Not much, Steve. How was your weekend? Anything interesting happen?
My weekend was fine. Spent 3 hours of my life watching a football game that I won't get back. How was your weekend?
They say TV adds 10 pounds. In person, it added 70 pounds
I bet.
to that game.
I bet.
That was ugly. You want to hit the breaking stuff first here, Steve?
We could do that, yes.
The breaking rumor mill?
Let's talk about it because it's certainly out there, and people are wondering, and people are saying, hey, what's going on with Donnie Freeman? So there was a social media post this weekend in which Donnie Freeman was spotted with his right foot in a walking boot. That post was then deleted. Our good friend Mike Waters posted something a short time ago saying SU officials remain mum on Freeman's status as the Orange prepares to play number 2 Houston today. I did reach out to a team spokesman earlier today as well, and I just received word back a short time ago that said that they'll know more after today's shoot-around. So, yeah, that is, I guess, factually what we know and what we don't know. But
I don't know anything.
Certainly keep your eye on.
I don't know anything, but where there's smoke, there's fire usually, Steve. And I tend to think that if everything was okay, they'd be like, come on, guys, everything's fine.
Yeah, yes.
There's nothing to this rumor.
Right. So, until we get official word, and we can't say officially, but it's
not ideal.
Not ideal. That's a good way to put it. Not ideal.
Snake-bitten university lately with the injuries.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get back into basketball later. What happened in football, it's not okay. The further I get away from it, Steve, the madder I get. And I don't, and this is the fan in me coming out, there was no dart in that at all. Right?
I don't even know what we say about what we saw.
If you went into that detail, that wouldn't have happened. Now you got to be accountable for it. Right? You've got to be accountable for a 70-0 loss. 77, sorry. Don't want to rip Flaherty off. Do I think they have better players? Yeah, but how have none of the quarterbacks gotten better?
So I think it's going to be interesting to hear what Fran has to say today, because how have the quarterbacks not gotten better? I don't know that Joe Flaherty belongs on the field this year. And I think they saw that against North Carolina, and Fran kind of made that point to say it at the time that it was kind of unfair to have him out there. And I think that, like, this is my take on the quarterbacks. I think he went back to him after it was clear that they couldn't make a bowl game, right? They gave it their best shot. They were like, okay, we're mathematically eliminated. They turned the page back to Ricky because he did give them the best chance to win. And I think that it's, all right, got to a point where they're not going to make a bowl. Ricky's not going to be back. Like, that's what I take. You know, he didn't even mention his name last week at the press conference. Obviously, he was listed as number 3 on the depth chart. They had no plan to play him at all as long as the other 2 guys stayed healthy. And that's what I look at it as. They've turned the page. Ricky's not coming back. Again, this is me talking. We don't know that Ricky's not coming back. And he has just completely gone into youth movement mode and looking at next year. And, you know, maybe Joe Filardi can be a second or third string quarterback down the road, so let's give him as many reps as possible. He doesn't belong on the field right now. And I hate saying that. Like, it's not a knock against the kid. It's not his fault. He's a true freshman, and he's here to play lacrosse.
How do we not have a quarterback that can get on the field?
Right. So they're down to, like, you don't go into the year thinking that you're going to need number 3 or number 4 on the depth chart, right? And they're at that point where number 1 got hurt, number 2 turned out to not be good, and now you're in a situation where number 2 is not coming back. So do you put the guy out there that gives you the best chance to win, or do you try to develop? And again, this is my opinion. I think Fran believes that he's doing the right thing by trying to develop. All right. But what we saw was
why didn't Ricky Collins develop? I don't get that argument, but you gotta. I don't know. You've just gotta.
Well, I'm saying at this point, it's too late for this year. I'm saying develop for next year.
Yes,
is how he looks at it.
Can you do that? Like, you can't. And like, people are saying they gave up on the season. You know, I keep hearing it's about the Black Ash. You can't give up on the season. You can't have what happened happen.
I agree with you.
No, even if you're rolling out your scrubs, you can't have it look like that.
Here's the thing. I think they knew going into this game, again, my opinion, that it was going to be an uphill battle. It's going to be an uphill battle either way, right? But they were like, all right, youth movement in effect. Let's get all these guys experience. And, yeah, they might take some lumps, but we'll be better for it. Like, we meaning, you know, the football team will be better for it in the long run. I don't think anyone envisioned 70-7. I don't think anyone envisioned 3 touchdowns before Notre Dame's offense takes the field.
Nobody goes into work envisioning 70-7, Steve. Like, imagine if you had a 70-7 performance at your job, though.
Yeah.
How would that be handled? You know, something's got to be said. And I hope it will be at this press conference.
Well, right. That's why I said I'm interested to see how he handles this, because it was ugly. It was embarrassing. Like, whatever adjective you want to use, it's probably accurate, right? It was all of those things. I think that he believes he's doing the right thing by putting all the young guys out there. Now, I would say in response, you know, I would question, is any experience good experience, or is that experience harmful to your development?
I think it was harmful to the development. I think it was harmful to the fan base. I think it was harmful to people's eyes who are just flipping channels. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I think Fran will figure it out. I really do think he is a guy who will figure it out. But that was worse than anything I've ever seen in a Syracuse football game.
So let me ask you this. Just let me play devil's advocate. I'm not picking a side here, but
because it's hard. It's like everybody says we're a homer. It's hard to be homers.
Yeah.
Even in that after that game.
Let me ask you this, and you know we talk about the worst loss. That was certainly among the worst losses ever. It absolutely was. But let me ask you this though. So the 62-0 against Virginia Tech in '99 that was brought up in comparison over the weekend because it was the same type of just shellacking. That was a bowl team, that Syracuse team. That team was trying to win, and that happened. The fact that they are already like he is. Clearly said it's youth movement looking ahead to next year. Does that change? Does that soften it at all for you that it was, again, this wasn't by design. They didn't go into it expecting to lose 70-7, but I think they knew, like, all right, if we do this, it could get ugly, but we think this is the best thing to do.
I was thinking like 45-3 or something like that.
So that would have been okay? 45-3 would have been okay?
Yeah, because that was worse than anything. Like, you can't imagine that, what you saw. Like, your worst nightmare wasn't that.
Right.
Did anybody have 70?
I jokingly said before the game, but like the game had not started yet, and I said it might be 100-0 today, and I jokingly said that, and then after like 5 minutes, I said, what did I speak it into existence? But I don't know, like, this is what I keep going back to. Like, you and I feel uncomfortable with what we saw Saturday.
It was on NBC. It was on national TV.
I know.
It was it wasn't.
I know.
It wasn't like when we were kids where you open up the paper the next day and see it. Go, what the hell happened to that game? Everybody saw it.
Right. Everybody saw it.
And podcasts that are talking about it,
making fun of Syracuse, and we talked a little bit about that over the weekend. All right. Well, we'll get more. You clearly want to go to Ryan here, so let's get to Ryan in Virginia. What's up, Ryan?
Steve, Paulie, I'm actually back in upstate New York. How are you guys doing?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I thought I felt the disturbance in the force.
Say it again, Paulie.
I said I felt a disturbance in the force, so I knew you were here.
That's funny. Paulie, I got to give you credit for as much grief as you guys take for the whole Syracuse state-run media thing. Yeah, I didn't see much dart, detailed, accountable, relentless, tough on Saturday either. And honestly, think of this season. It reminds me of the pre-Dino years where, they might start off 3-1 and, I still to this day feel like Dino did not get enough credit, especially with what we're seeing now. It was 2 years ago when the Dome was packed, not with 42,000 or what the capacity is now, but it was, 3 years ago. It was 2022 when the Dome was packed for NC State, when the Dome was packed for Notre Dame. And they won one of those two games, and at least when they lost to Notre Dame, it wasn't 70-7. So, it's just crazy how, we can go from 9-3 or 10-3 and top 25 to this. But I think the thing that we can be optimistic about is that next year truly is a new season, and depending on what they get in the portal, hopefully they'll be able to bounce back. But I missed the first part of the show. I just call it the tail end. Was there an injury in basketball, something you guys said unofficial? I didn't hear the whole thing.
It hasn't been announced yet. There was a picture that was released and taken down of Donnie Freeman in a boot. They will give more information closer to game time.
Okay.
All right.
Appreciate it. That's all I got. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Same to you, Ryan. Same to you. Not to ruin your Monday, Ryan, but Donnie Freeman has been pictured in a walking boot.
Yeah, and I'm not like trying to take shots at anybody right now. It's just it's hard to see how you get better from that. They are now underdogs to BC.
Yeah. Well, again, this is what I keep going back to. If they truly were trying to put their best foot forward, I don't know that they would be underdogs, but I think we saw. You have to put your best foot forward. It's a senior's last game. I know, but I don't get how that's okay. Yeah. I'm telling you that, again, my opinion is I think Fran believes he's doing the right thing. He came on our show. He talked about 20 freshmen played, 17 of them true freshmen. And, it is all about next year. He talked about how he handled the bye week, that it was like bowl game preparation. And it was letting the seniors, we had team meeting and then the seniors would go and get their treatment. And it was all about the young guys. And I think that the way that they have handled the quarterbacks, it's all about the young guys. It's all about.
That's a whole other story that I like. They lost 70-0, and everybody's obsessing, or 70-7, and everybody's obsessing over Carney's red shirt. Who cares?
Yeah.
The ruling, everybody's pretty much going to get 5 years, right?
We believe, yeah. We believe.
You can redshirt as a sophomore too. So if he stays, and Angeli stays healthy, he can redshirt next year.
Right. I guess the thing that I would say to that is the plan to play him against BC? Do they already know if they're playing him against BC or not? Because if they are planning to play him against BC, why not just sit him against Notre Dame? Like, how many snaps did he get against Notre Dame? It wasn't that many, right? I don't know. That was a little bit head scratching. you would think that they would let him play against Boston College and see how he does against a comparable opponent, as opposed to doing it against Notre Dame at Notre Dame when you're down by 100. But again, I think he believes he's doing the right thing. He's got a plan, and his plan is get the young guys experience so that next year it's not their first time.
Steve, how long? The other question is, how much is this just Angeli got hurt, really?
I think
would they be
I think the middle part of the season, right after it, I think it was a lot about Angeli, and I do think it was both sides of the ball because there were several games where the defense played very well for the first half, and then they just got worn down in the second half. And I think that goes back to the offense couldn't move the ball, offense couldn't score points, defense was on the field a lot, defense got worn down, and things got out of hand. I think the latter part of this season, the last two games in particular, Miami and this one, they weren't going to win those games anyway. But I think it's looked as bad as it's looked in the second half against Miami and the full game against Notre Dame because they've just gone full youth movement. And it's, the season's over, essentially, and they're playing for next year. And if they lose to BC, I think it's going to be a lot of that.
Alec Martin said they would have been 8-4. I'm finding that hard to believe right now.
I do think, you look back on games that they lost, North Carolina, Pittsburgh, Duke. I think that those games, even SMU, those games are more tossy-uppy, as you like to say, if Steve Angeli's out there. And do you end up losing by double digits? I would say no. I would say that those games are close and maybe you even win a couple of those.
I think you maybe get the UNC game, the BC game here coming up. But, yeah, I don't know. We'll find out if everything was we'll know next year if that was the problem.
Right. Well, exactly. And now, the way that this year has gone south, next year was going to be a big year either way. But now it becomes an even bigger year. And I think people will have their eyes on, Fran Brown and the coaching. But, again, I'm with you. I do believe in Fran, and I think he's got a plan. And I think – again, nobody was expecting 70-7, but again, if it was 45-7, would that have been fine?
Yes.
You would have been like, okay, hold on, 45-7.
Yeah, the number 19 beat you.
Right. The point
is the way it happened, Steve. That was the ugliest. That was Greg Robinson ugly.
And I don't think, no one could have foreseen that. But I think he went into it knowing, all right, it's probably going to be a long day, but I believe that this is what's best for the program and the Block S and for moving forward, and it was a disaster. It was obviously.
It felt bad. It felt like the effort was very minimal. And I don't know if it was because they were freshmen or whatnot, or just how the game started.
I mean, their spirit had to be broken at, 5 minutes in or whatever.
I'm feeling we're going to get a bunch of calls today. My spirit was broken, and I had no, skin in the game.
John in Syracuse up next. Hey, John.
Hi. I'll break your spirit a little more. I want you to think about...
How angry could you possibly be right now?
I want you to think about something. You and John Wildhack especially. 2 years ago... Indiana signed Kirk Cignetti, and Indiana was the worst college football team of all time, and he signs Fran Brown, and Fran Brown is still delusional enough to think he's going to win a national championship here. That's all I got to say. I can't say it anymore.
Yeah, I think Fran will be okay. I think this is a natural progression in building a football program. Taking your lumps. Now, I mean, you don't want the lumps to be that bad, but I think you've got to have a year like this in order to get better. And with a portal, you can fix things quickly, or it could go sideways on you, and you whiff on your quarterback, and you're stuck in a situation like this.
Yeah. Success is not linear. It does not go in a straight line.
Indiana's going to have a down year. I can guarantee you.
You are going to have situations like this. I will say this about Indiana, and it's not all about money, but keep in mind, I called up the most NIL money per program in the country. Indiana's 12th on the list. And it's all it's Penn State's right ahead of them, and a lot of SEC schools, and so on and so forth. So it's and Syracuse is not on that top 25. just something to keep in mind. But yes, what Curt Cignetti has done there is
impressive.
That's an understatement.
It's an outlier in building a program, I would say.
Yeah.
Dave, what's up?
Hey, Dave.
Hey, guys. Yes, Steve, you mentioned that Fran has, in his press conferences, said that he's going to be playing freshmen. He's talked a lot about next year and whatnot, but he also said he wants to send his seniors out the right way in the same token. And it just doesn't look like he's doing everything to win right now. I mean, speaking of the future, I mean, they lost 3 decommits after the Notre Dame game just yesterday. So that's the future, too. He's talking about the class coming in. It sounds like we're losing guys. Hopefully he keeps the core, the best players. And I think that's his strength, his forte. I hope he can do that. But, man, you got to compete in these games. And I honestly think if he announces Joe Flacco is going to be your starting quarterback next week, I just don't think he's giving the team the best chance to win. And they got to see that.
It does feel like that, yes. It feels like if they start Joe Flacco, it's truly just next year. But I don't know that he's going to go back to Ricky. I'm curious to see what he says about that today at his press conference.
The 3 decommits I looked into were not like huge losses, and one of them was a running back, and he wasn't going to get on the field for a couple of years.
And it could be, too. Just keep this in mind about the decommits. We'll ask Mike McAllister when we have him on. It could be mutual parting of ways.
Yeah.
That freshman class is enormous. And so, maybe they looked at it as, all right, we want to save a few spots because we want to get this transfer or that transfer. Yeah. So it does go both ways. I'm not saying that's what happened. The timing is curious, but it could be, it all happened in the same day. It could just be a mutual parting of ways. But anyway, continue, Paul.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, Yasin's coming back next year, according to him. You're running back. Yeah, I don't think it was too worrisome.
If it's Calvin Russell, then you can be okay. This might be a problem.
Yeah.
But if you've got the top guys in the class still committed, then
and you've got your key players that you want coming back, that's good. What's up, Jordan?
Do you remember Cuse in the City game? Do you remember when FC football played Cuse in the City?
Hey, hi.
And I thought that was the worst of the program. But seeing what happened on Saturday, this is worse than Cuse in the City. But do you guys remember? I just want to know. Do you guys remember Cuse in the City?
Yeah, New York's college team. Yeah, they did the Cuse games in the city, which I thought was a brilliant idea. Actually.
Is that what he's talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
Okay.
I have no idea what was going on. He was having conversations
There's a lot
with
going
friends.
on there.
And,
a lot going on there.
Jordan was scrambled. Let's take a timeout. We're way behind, but you guys are the most important part of the show. 315-437-7644.
That was our opening drive. It's brought to you by Burdick BMW of Cicero. Back after this.
No, I just want to hit one thing, because as we go into our drive, last year, Coach Autry caught a lot of grief, but his basketball team was playing its best basketball at the end of the season.
Yeah. It is interesting. This is a topic for maybe another segment or another show.
It's a science project, Steve. It's not no, but you also have higher expectations for the basketball program. And now I'm starting to get that. Like, you expect the basketball program, you can legitimately be a top 5 seed in the tournament at Syracuse. We've seen it a million times.
Yeah. It is interesting, though, that it's like, well, Steve Angeli got hurt, so that's what happened.
Nobody was saying Donnie Freeman,
JJ. They played one game together from December 1st on, but, Steve Angeli got hurt. So.
Yeah, also, hopefully we're not saying the exact same thing in basketball this year.
For sure. All right, let's take a timeout. Mike McAllister coming up in 10 minutes. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
Point Guard Advisors and Burdick Ford are proud supporters of game day radio coverage of Syracuse football. We are the pulse of the Orange. ESPN Radio 97.7 and 100.1.
Get ready, Central New York, because
Yeah. Would that segment be worth using on SYR Plus with the callers? The reaction to that? You cut it?
Maybe.
You don't want to have interaction with people?
No, we can.
You don't want to allow our low-life radio listeners on your brilliant TV show?
I gotta think about it, because it's just, I got to think about how we're gonna talk. I really want to have the Houston guy on because the show airs at 4:30, and I want him to be a part of the show.
He doesn't want you guys on Esquire Plus.
No,
it's like
that's
me
not
on,
what I said.
It's like me on Bridge Street.
Let
I
me
get
think
it.
about it. Let me think about it.
You plebes are not allowed on WSYR Plus.
It's not what I said, Paulie. I got to think about how we're going to execute this.
Did you hear that?
Okay.
I feel like that's what I heard. What do you guys think? Do you guys hear that? How do you guys take that? That your opinions aren't good enough.
It's not what I said.
For
not what
TV.
I said. Don't do this.
Yeah, he doesn't want the riffraff on the show. You're correct, Orange Pride.
Well, I do host it with you every day, so that's out the window. That can't be it.
Donnie should be like the NIL deal with Timberlands.
Say that again?
You should have an NIL deal with Timberlands. Sick burn.
Yeah, Philly, I jokingly said before the game that I said it might be 100-0 for all those reasons you're mentioning. 70-7 is a lot, but I thought it was going to be, I thought they were going to get clobbered, and they did. I mean, I don't think anybody could have saw 3 touchdowns before the offense had the ball. I mean, if you take away those 21 points, that's a little more reasonable.
70-7 is not okay in any situation.
That's 49-7, or they get 56-7 if you give them one more. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you, Philly. I thought the same thing. I thought it was going to be they were going to get crushed, and they have decided that this is the best way to handle it. They're going to play the young guys, and hopefully the experience pays off next year. I just don't know if any experience is good experience, or if that experience ends up harming their development in any way.
But you have to look at ticket sales. That harmed a lot more than just the players. Going into next year for the fans, you gotta.
Yeah, that was a good call, Philly.
You
must have been feeling good 5 minutes in when at the end of the first quarter it was 35-0.
Yeah, good meat. Oh, they had hot dogs. And all I could think of was Steve taking the hot dog out of the bun, but they steamed themselves in the aluminum, so the hot dog bun was all soggy and wet, so I couldn't even get through it. I was like Oh no. Oh no. Nothing to see here. Just regular bumps today. Sorry. It was bad work on my...
Was that the plan all along?
That was a 70-0 performance, or 7. I keep saying nothing, but...
Is now a bad time to tell you that I heard music in my headphones the entire first segment? How it gets really faint?
I didn't hear it.
Okay.
You must have bat ears. Bat radar. Are you a superhero? Do you have superheroes? Where the hell is Mike? Mike's on video.
Rough start to the week for you.
Yeah. I have PTSD from the weekend.
All right, let's bring out our good friend
Turning
Mike
down our mics
McAllister.
now. What the hell am I doing?
I don't know what you're doing, to be honest with
Flustered.
you. Publisher, CuseNation.com. Mike McAllister with us. Mike, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
We're okay. Let's start football. We do want to get into a little basketball with you, but help us with what we saw on Saturday, because we're talking about like how bad was it? Is there a difference between 56-7 or 70-7? I think it was worse than anyone anticipated, but Fran has made it known that he's going with the freshmen and going with the young guys right now to get them reps for next year. What do you kind of make of what you saw Saturday?
I don't think even the worst case scenario envisioned 21-0 before the Notre Dame offense sees the field, right? We do a thing when we're on the quad, like best case, worst case, of what could happen for Syracuse in that given game during our pregame show. And like I said, I don't think I could have envisioned that as the worst case scenario. So yeah, it was really bad. But at the same time, to your point, I heard you talking off air, like you were, to the chat and whatnot, that you were expecting them to get crushed going into the game. They got crushed. So it kind of is what it is. And my favorite thing about sports fandom, and I do this myself, is you go into a game with a certain expectation. That exact thing happens, and then you get outraged that it happens, right? So Syracuse fans go into that game expecting Notre Dame to crush Syracuse. Notre Dame crushes Syracuse, and then it's, how could this happen? I mean, there's levels of ugly. Like there
I'm
certainly
2 out of 10.
There's certainly
but there's something. What there? I don't normally agree with the fans being angry. There was a lot to be angry about on Saturday.
I'm just not sure what could have been done to prevent that. I guess, I understand. Well, play Ricky, et cetera. We've seen
run the ball, snap with a play clock. With 1 second left every time, and run the ball. Just change your philosophy and just mitigate the damage.
That's true, but I can't envision a head coach going into a game saying, let's try to lose this by as little as possible. So we're going to run clock right from the start. We're just going to basically do different run plays so that we don't turn it over, and then hope that our defense makes them take several plays to score instead of scoring on 1 or 2 plays. That's not a game plan I can see any coaching staff implementing in any game, regardless of how lopsided it appears on paper. And, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I think in the annals of Syracuse football, when you're evaluating Fran Brown and his level of success over his tenure at Syracuse, one of two things is going to happen. Either that's going to be the spark that everyone says, well, that's when we knew it wasn't going to work, or he's going to bring in a bunch of talent through the transfer portal, bring in the high caliber recruits that they've got, turn it around starting next year, and it's just going to be one of those, that was the exception to the rule. It was just sort of one of those things that Syracuse had to go through in order to get to where they wanted to be, which is consistently good.
What did you make of the use of the quarterbacks and the fact that, obviously Joe Filardi was struggling. We didn't anticipate we were going to see Ricky Collins. Fran didn't even mention the name Ricky Collins at his press conference last week or to us. But that he used Luke Carney, but just a little bit. And now he's played the 4 games, and we don't know if they're going to burn his red shirt and play him in the 5th game against BC or not. What do you make of, I guess, the handling of playing Carney a little bit in this game?
I was surprised. I thought that they would do that next week against Boston College when, maybe you can catch the Eagles off guard and use it for a little bit of a spark here and there, especially if, assuming Filardi's your starter again, if he was struggling a little bit. I thought that made the most sense. And I kind of thought maybe this was a game where you throw Ricky out there and let him be a sacrificial lamb, and then, next week come back with your freshman at a home environment against a much less caliber of an opponent. But yeah, it was a little curious to me. I'm also a little bit surprised that we didn't get, somewhere towards the end of the game, and they didn't throw Jakari Williams out there for a possession or two at least. I'm a little bit baffled given all of the struggles that we've seen from the quarterback position, and we haven't seen him on the field at all, even in mop-up duty. It's curious to me. Now, again, I don't see practice, so I don't have access to the same information that all the coaches do. I'm just a little bit surprised we haven't at least seen him out there in some capacity as mop up duty or sacrificial lamb, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, like what does it hurt at that point? When it's 49-0 or 56-0 or whatever the case may be. We saw 3 players decommit within the last 24 hours. What is your feeling on this subject? Is it a mutual parting of ways? Is it because of what happened at Notre Dame? Is this a concern at all for Syracuse football?
I don't think it's a concern. I don't believe it was a direct response to the loss to Notre Dame. The main reason I say that is because you would figure if someone in Syracuse's 2026 class is going to decide to reopen their recruitment, reevaluate their options as a result of the way that Syracuse has played for its last 7 games, that it would be someone with a lot of options, a lot of other schools continuing to pursue them. The Calvin Russells, the Cameron Wilsons, the Javion Coopers, those types, the guys that are the 4- and 5-star players that are at the top of Syracuse's class in terms of their ranking. And the fact that none of those guys have it as we speak right now, then I think that's not something that I view as there was a correlation. I think the timing makes it appear as if there was a correlation. I don't think there was. I think this is simply Syracuse had a very large recruiting class, numbers-wise. You look at who they think is going to come back, what positions and how hard they want to attack the transfer portal, and you got to make sure that you've got enough slots open in order to make that happen. So I also think you look at the verbiage that was used, especially by Zakir Leaks, where he said after a phone call from Fran Brown, he is elected to reopen his recruitment. That to me tells me that Fran Brown is calling him to initiate that conversation, which would then be reasonable to assume that that was coming from the Syracuse side of things as opposed to initiated by the recruit themselves. So until you start seeing those big names that they're decommitting or have a signing day surprise that they're signing elsewhere, it's nothing that I'm overly concerned about as we sit right now.
What do you make of the Luke Carney situation? Are they trying to save him from being in games in the situation that Flaherty has been in so they don't ruin him? Is it we don't trust him to be on the field and throw the ball? Is it the fact that, hey, we can redshirt him next year also if Angeli stays healthy all year? Is he the guy, or will he be somewhere else next year, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything specific as far as what his plans are for next year. But it's a little curious just because we haven't seen him throw the ball at all. Very few here and there. I think he threw one pass down the field against Notre Dame, but otherwise it's been really short passes and primarily him running the ball. And so when he comes in, if I'm a defense, I know exactly what I'm expecting. I'm expecting quarterback draws and running plays. And so I
thought your dog was fake. I'm sorry. I was watching this video the whole time, and your dog didn't move, and it just moved. And I was like, oh, my God, that's not a stuffed animal. That's a real dog.
I was trying to keep him next to me, and he just decided that he wanted to be up there at the moment.
It freaked me out.
We need a reason to smile, Mike. So what's your dog's name? Give us a little dog break here. What's your dog's name?
His name is Pigpen.
Okay. How old is he?
We got him from Helping Hounds about 7 years ago or so at this point. And I never had a dog growing up, so he's my first dog. And he's small and has little man syndrome and barks at everything. So
he also stands still very well.
Yes.
And when he moved, the whole chat freaked out. Like, it's a real dog.
Yeah. So for those listening on the radio and not watching us on QSportsTalk.com, he's just been like perched over Mike's shoulder interview, and then all of a sudden he moves. So, let's talk a little bit of basketball here, Mike, before we let you go. And I'm sure you've heard the rumors and everything with Donnie as well. Let's, I guess, for the sake of argument, say Donnie does not play tonight or play in Vegas. Again, speculation, but if he's not out there, how does that affect his team? Who do you think gets the start? How does that affect your expectations for tonight?
Well, it certainly affects my expectations, not just for tonight, but for the trip as a whole. I kind of went in thinking they had a shot to win 1, potentially 2, depending on who that third game is. I thought Kansas was a winnable game, especially when they're without one of their best players. But if Syracuse doesn't have Donnie Freeman, I think that takes a huge chunk away from what Syracuse wants to do. And one of their most productive players, I think their best player. And that certainly makes it a more challenging game. I would be completely shocked if they won tonight. as a result of that. I think it would have been tough anyway, but I think it makes the Kansas game that much more challenging and that much more difficult whenever you don't have a player of his caliber. As far as who starts, I've kind of gone back and forth in my mind as to whether I think it's going to be a Tyler Betsy or a Sadiq White. But I think maybe White, just because Betsy's been coming off the bench and played well and, seems to be comfortable in that role. But, either way, both of those guys are going to play a lot, and they're going to have to step up and be really good in order to make up for the absence of Donnie Freeman if he's unable to go.
You guys ready for a really hot take? Here's my hot take. I think this could help Syracuse in the long run if Donnie Freeman is out. You go into these games, if you're competitive and he comes back, it helps you more than, if you lose with him. Does that make sense? If you're competitive in these games, end of the year, the committee looks, you're winning games. Oh, you lost to Houston by 9 without him? Oh, okay, you're a pretty good team. So I think if you can stay competitive in these games, you'll be fine. It's just you can't go out and get boat raced like the football team did.
Yeah, I guess, but I also think if you have them, you have a pretty good chance of winning multiple games.
Yeah, you'd rather go out and win one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you might win two. I mean, Peterson's out. I mean, Bill Self said at the end of last week that, Darren Peterson is not going to play in Vegas. I think they had Notre Dame is like a 3-point underdog tonight against Kansas. Like, you telling me Syracuse couldn't beat,
Let's just see how they play without him, too. Okay. Everybody calm down.
Okay. It's going to hurt the fact
it does hurt.
If he doesn't play.
Yes, it hurts your odds of winning.
Yeah.
But if you go out and you're competitive with these guys and he comes back, I think you'll be okay.
Okay.
But just don't get boat raced.
I hope you're right. Biggest keys in this tournament, whether there's Donnie or no Donnie, Mike, in terms of like if the goal is to win a game or two out there, and let's say it's not tonight, but these next two nights, Tuesday and then either Wednesday or Thursday, what's the biggest key for Syracuse?
I think it starts with defense. I understand the rebounding's been an issue, specifically in that Monmouth game, but I think it starts with defense. Syracuse, I believe, is number 1 in the country in points allowed per game, and I think Houston's number 2. But if Syracuse wants to stay in these games, if you're missing one of your best players in Donnie Freeman and one of your best offensive players, one of the ways that you can combat that is by playing well defensively. Defense can keep you in games that you otherwise wouldn't expect to be in. So I want to see Syracuse show that defensive intensity that they showed in the first 3 games for 40 minutes in each game down in Vegas. And if they do that, I think that'll keep them in the competitive range, as you said, Paulie, to try to make a statement. Because if you lose to Houston in the fashion Paulie just outlined, and then you're able to beat Kansas even without Donnie Freeman, almost regardless of what happens in that third game outside of getting boat raced, to use a Paulie term again, then you feel like it's a successful trip if you don't have Donnie Freeman, because I think you've showcased yourself well that you're a good team and can compete with these teams. And then you get a key win in your non-conference schedule, and then you just hope that Donnie can come back soon and see how things play out. And if you can pull off a win against Tennessee at home, now you're really off and running.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think people are misconstruing what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying if they go out and play well without him, it's a good thing.
Yeah, you got to win some games.
Yes.
And Donnie helps you win games.
Yes.
So if he's not out there, it's a big loss, but you make do. Mike, thank you as always for the time. We'll see you on the TV side of things tonight, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and good job to Pigpen. Way to hang in there.
You've got to do camera every time now. People are demanding.
All right, Mike, we'll see you later tonight. We got to take a time out. Phone line's back open. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
I'm saying, guys, they would probably have a better chance of winning if they had Donnie Freeman. If you go into a game against the number 1 team, you're competitive without your best player, he comes back later in the year, and you have a good record, the committee will look a little differently on the game. I'm not saying it's beneficial. But you also have to be competitive. You have to play well. You have to be a good team, and we're going to find out if they are.
That's true, Robo Keys. What are you going to do at the end of the game if he's not out there?
Yeah, he can't shoot.
Nobody can make free throws. Can he limp out there and make some free throws?
It's completely different than Angeli. If he's coming back, I've said a million times, if he's coming back, and it's not a preemptive excuse, I'm saying the committee looks at games when your best players are out differently than they do if they're in. It's factual, guys. You guys can keep saying all you want. But they also have to go out and play well. Take one, Brian, break. No one knows. Yeah. You can't lose like that. You can't get boat raced. LA Orange, if you have non-official sources, you can't you can't say what they said. That's funny. Just say it, if there's smoke, there's fire. That's my saying of the day.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Shop local, support small. Ride happy at Syracuse Bicycle, 2540 Erie Boulevard East. Visit SyracuseBicycle.com.
Let's put it this way, LA Orange. You can have sources that are not official, but you can't use that information. It's not reportable unless you get it official. Does that make sense? Yeah, right. But you can't report off the record information.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Correct.
Plus, if they're non-official sources, that kind of hurts too. Like, you would have to have an official, like someone who is, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Someone who's connected.
Talk.com.
Ooh, special ed again.
This is Orange Nation.
All right, let's get right back to the phone calls. We've got Fran Brown coming up at 1 o'clock.
Did you guys vote for an artist of the day?
We did.
I was told you didn't because I was just going to veto it anyways.
No, we did. I think it was. I think it was Queen.
Okay, nobody told me.
Tim and Mario both went for
Let's go
Queen.
to Brian.
And I did.
No, that was
else.
Thursday. We did Queen.
We definitely voted, and it was definitely Mario and Tim voted, and I said, "Oh, I guess my vote doesn't matter," but I forget who we voted for. Brian, what's up?
Hey guys, I love the old school special ed. I got it made.
Yes,
I
nice.
wish that could be said for SU and their Vegas trip, and they got it made. But hey, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and hopefully for good results. And adversity builds character. And I have a question for you, Paulie, about the Notre Dame trip. If you had to choose between being stuck in a broken elevator with your favorite callers or having to go to the SU Notre Dame game, which one would you choose?
Oh, I would go to the
And I'll leave you with that one.
I would go to the SU Notre Dame game every time. Every time. Without a doubt. Oh, yeah. It's not even close. Not even close. Let's take a time out, come back, find out if the stock market's an elevator, if it's up or down.
Yeah, we got to get back on time here. Fran Brown's weekly press conference coming up at 1 o'clock, and then we're going to talk Houston basketball with Chancellor Johnson from the Big 12 Conference. He covers Houston for the Big 12.
How do you handle?
He's coming up at 1:30.
How do you handle elevators? Are you good in them?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I know I have my quirks, but not that weird, right?
Yeah, I don't mind
I
elevators.
fly and I go on
You ever meet
elevators,
somebody who
unlike
doesn't like
you.
bridges? I used to date a girl who would get under the dashboard when we went over bridges.
I don't know anybody who doesn't like bridges, but you just said we got to get back on time. And
I don't care.
Then you
about
brought up some nonsense, so we can talk about that in the
I'd
next.
rather talk nonsense than what's happening around us in the world of sports.
We'll wrap up hour number 1 next on ESPN Radio.
The Rich Eisen Show.
It leads to our new segment, Straight Outta Tomlin.
It's a fine line between drinking wine and squashing grapes in this business.
Straight Outta Tomlin.
The guy who used to buy weed from.
Does he write these down? I love.
It's funny. Oh, that's a good question. Do you push the button or do you ask someone to push it for you? Because is it dirty or do you?
So,
need to...
if we're being honest, when I don't know why I tell you people these things because then you just use it against me. But when you have to hit the up or the down, I do it with my knuckle, or I do it with my elbow.
Do you put your hand on the handrail of an escalator?
No. Yes, I will push the button, but I'll do it with my elbow or my knuckle.
I lick my finger, touch it, lick it again.
I bet you do.
Lick it. You guys are stupid. You're stupid knuckles.
Oh, Philly does the knuckle thing.
Yeah,
it's just I don't know. I feel like it's the best way to stay healthy. I mean, you got to press it, but you don't have to press it.
How about
with
wash your hands
every time you get off an elevator?
Yeah, you probably get sick a lot because you do that. Get the germs on you, touch them, lick them. Lick the freaking numbers. I licked the number 4 on purpose just so I don't get sick. That's why you're so fragile. You've got no immunity.
I don't think I'm sick a lot. I feel
You've got no immunity.
I have trouble with my voice. It doesn't mean I'm sick.
Because you haven't licked anything you shouldn't lick yet in your life. That's why everybody's allergic to everything now, too. Because nobody touches anything. When I was born, my parents bathed me in peanut butter so I wouldn't get a peanut allergy. I got a peanut butter enema.
Philly, I appreciate you saying that.
I didn't realize I would say peanut butter enema today, but that was funny to me.
T-Takes, we don't know about Donnie for sure yet, but as I like the line Paulie keeps saying, where there's smoke, there's fire. So just whatever that means to you, but yeah.
Now I got to watch everybody in the elevators when I'm in hotels to see if they're knuckling the numbers.
It's just a
bunch of weirdos. Old rat boy over here using it. I'm just going to get a boot and wear it around, make people talk, question why I'm in a boot, and I'm not going to tell them. Why are you in a boot? I don't know. You worry about it yourself. I'll tell you closer to broadcast time. Knuckle deep and funny. That's funny to me. I think it's, because of me, Special Ed should be the official artist of this show.
Do it. Do it.
Because of Special Ed, Steve. I should go to Special Ed. I'm making fun of myself. Yeah, I'm going to do a watch party. I got nothing better to do than hang out with you guys.
Tronic, it is the same foot, same right foot. All right, we got a minute or two here to check in on the market before we bring you Fran Brown's weekly press conference. Let's bring on Bill from Lee Baldwin & Company. Bill, how you doing today? How's the market doing as we kick off the week?
Yeah, good. The sun's out. The market's doing well. We got the Dow up 270, Nasdaq's up 500, so we're having a really good day. A couple big tech stocks are performing well. Google's up 5% to a new 52-week high, all-time high, but we're going to go with Tesla up 7%. As the company reminds people that they have their own AI chip that they're producing and looking to expand in the coming years to use not only in their cars and data centers, but hopefully a line of robots in the future. So Tesla's acting well. And on the downside, we have a drug stock, Novo Nordisk, which is down 5%, actually to a 52-week low. They're hoping their weight loss drug Ozempic could work with Alzheimer's patients, but unfortunately a couple studies showed no improvement there. So disappointing news to them, but overall a real good day to start the week.
All right, that's what we'd like to hear. Bill, thank you for coming on as always. Lee Baldwin, all the diamonds, none of the dogs. Be sure to visit leebaldwin.com. Yes,
I misidentified the artist that just played. It's Johnny Kemp. Just got paid.
It is Johnny Kemp.
I thought it was I Want Her.
And I was going to tell you that I could still hear it as we were talking.
Oh, it's great, Steve. I get it. You could hear it. I left it up a little bit, so you had like a talk over bed.
Thank you. I like that. All right, let's officially get back on time. We've got Fran Brown's weekly press conference set to start at 1 o'clock. That's next on ESPN Radio.
Experience the magic of the holiday season tonight at Wegmans Lights on the Lake. Make core memories that'll last for years to come as you drive through Central New York's #1 holiday tradition. Vehicle passes are only sold in advance and are limited. No sales at the gate. So get yours today at lightsonthelake.com.
Tonight is brought to you by Iroquois Skilled Nursing Community, a state-of-the-art 160-bed skilled nursing facility that's been providing high quality.
I got it, guys. Give me a second. I was doing a little work there. Had to fix a couple things. Yeah, he is. Steve is just loves. I thought if my mistake when I said shot cock instead of shot clock earlier, or game cock instead of game clock, he would have pointed it out. Or what, Steve? Or what, Paul? You made a mistake. Steve, somebody in the Cuse fan message boards, I hadn't looked in a while. I thought ever since I went over there, they had calmed down on me. Somebody said I'm a tough listen. But he also said, I say, as the kids would say, too much.
I say that sometimes.
It's to be funny.
Yeah.
But apparently I'm not funny to that guy.
Same.
So I'm going to say it soon, as the kids would say.
Every business operates a little different and has its own style, from campgrounds to restaurants and contractors to offices.
Sometimes when I'm in a hotel room alone, I like to Google myself and see what's going on in my life. See if I... We're a mid-market, Mike. Thank you. You ever Google yourself? No, why? I don't know. I just like to Google myself sometimes. What comes up? Just stuff people saying about me.
Yeah. Supplement brackets.
Oh, creator of bracketology, Paulie's. We'll be there on time. I don't do it at home, Gaper. I do it I do it when I'm in a hotel room. Like that's what I did. And I wasn't gonna go down and gamble. We stayed in a casino out there, and I was just like, let's see what's going on. And I Googled myself. You Google yourself frequently? I do it like once every few months just to see if there's any beef out there. Create a website that's Paulie Sibilia doesn't wash his hands after he takes a dump.com. Oh, I played Beat the Clock on the thruway the other day on the way to Notre Dame. I didn't think I was going to make it. I was like...
How many horses did you end up with?
8. I almost cried. I was almost in tears because I was fighting it.
Live from Armory Square, this is Orange Nation.
Genuine pony. Ride it. That pony.
All right, we are driving into our second hour. It's brought to you by Burdick BMW of Cicero. Standing by for Fran Brown's weekly press conference. Be interesting to see what he's going to talk about today, how he's going to handle this.
Yeah. If I hear Dart today, I might throw my phone.
Let's see.
You can reset Dart at next year. Okay? That's my take.
You don't want to hear it anymore this year.
Yeah, I'm done for this year. If you can give up like that, like, and just go freshman, let's put Dart aside. And then I'll be happy again.
Are you monitoring, Paulie?
Yeah, I got it potted up, Steve.
Okay, just double check.
Just waiting. If it freezes up again, I think I know what to do.
Okay. All right, we are standing by waiting for Fran Brown to discuss a 70-7 loss in South Bend on Saturday.
Maybe they made him walk back.
One more
this is punishment, and that's why he's not there yet.
One more game, BC on Saturday to close things out. And it does feel like it's time for the football season to wrap up. That's kind of what I was thinking this week. I was like, I'm glad it's almost over.
Do I just sit here in silence and wait for it to start? Just
meditate for 30 seconds.
Just take a couple minutes to just decompress.
Couple of deep breaths here.
I knew I was going to talk about a football loss today. I didn't know that was going to be the loss.
Yeah. Yeah.
How would you evaluate that if you were a Wild Hag? Like, can you put that behind you and just be like, okay with that?
So that's why I brought up the 62-0 game in '99, because that team was a bowl team. That team was...
That made it okay, though, right?
Well, see,
because you still were going to a bowl.
I think you could take either side of it, and you could say, well, that team was their best foot. Like, they put their best foot forward, and they lost 62-0. And again, it's not excuses. It's just that was the approach. The approach going to Notre Dame was completely turn the page to next year, and we saw what that looks like. And it did look like my dad texted me at one point and said this looks like JV against varsity. I mean, it did. It was 100% right. It was Notre Dame's varsity against SU's JV, and it was ugly.
Tronic says it's more fun to talk about 70-7 than 40-20. If it was 40-20, I would be stoked going into next year. If you lost by 20 with all the freshmen out on the field and put up 20 points with Filardi, I'd be okay with that. This is way too much.
There's nothing to dissect from that game because it was just complete and utter domination, and Notre Dame could have named the score. I said 100-0 before the game. If they wanted to score 100, they could have.
I think it was 142-0 was their biggest win ever, and they beat like the American Academy of Medicine and surgery.
Yeah.
And they had to call the game 33 minutes into it because the train was leaving for the opposing team back then.
How was that possible? They scored that many points in 30 minutes.
They scored 70 points in a quarter.
We're talking like what? Like 1800s or something?
Yeah, early on. Man. You imagine being like, oh, our train's leaving. Let's call the game.
We've had enough.
NBC's like, what's happening?
We've had enough. We're done.
Any word out there, guys? Are we still waiting? Am I on the right thing? Hey, you know.
He's generally on time, so the fact that it's 4 minutes after.
I haven't looked at my phone.
I have not gotten a text, so
okay.
The fact that it's 4 minutes after, my guess is it's probably started.
It hasn't started. I don't think they're coming up with an answer.
Trying to figure out what they're going to say.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to say.
I mean, there's nothing to say after that performance. And I guess I was convinced all along that they were better than BC, but right now they're not better than BC. And they're not better than BC if they're playing all the freshmen. And that game might be good experience. Like playing BC with the freshmen, like whether you win it or lose it, it probably doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. I know the seniors want to go out with a win, but I get the benefit of playing all the freshmen against Boston College. But they weren't ready. Like the players who played on Saturday were not ready for that game.
Yeah. And could they have been more ready? Is my question.
I don't know. You're talking about freshmen and sophomores going up against a motivated Notre Dame team that wanted to win by as many as they could because of the college football playoff.
They will tell us when he's on.
I think they were walking into a really bad situation.
A hornet's nest, as the kids would say, Steve. I had to get a as the kids would say it today. I was reading my haters like I do once every few months. I was telling everybody in the chat, and someone said I say as the kids would say too much. 6'7", Steve.
6'7". Yeah.
Were you all right? So I know Angeli wasn't there, and they have a very good running back. Like, it felt like once he got past, like, the team speed for Syracuse, like, just the difference was so noticeable, right?
It was, yeah. I mean, he's maybe the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, he's good,
yeah.
But
did you watch any, just speaking of that, did you watch any NFL yesterday? Did you watch the end of that Lions-Giants game? Jahmyr Gibbs, like when he gets in the open field, he's different, and maybe that's just Jeremiah Love, and maybe he's different as well, and the speed, that extra gear he can find. But Giants fans know what I'm talking about. That especially that overtime touchdown, he basically made one guy miss and then just outran everybody else. Some guys are like that. Some guys are different, and Jeremiah Love might be in that category. But you're right. It looked like, again, I will say it looked like a JV team trying to play the varsity, and it wasn't a fair matchup.
It almost looked like adults playing against kids. Or you ever watch those mascot videos?
Well, in some ways that's accurate, right?
Have you ever watched the mascot videos where the little like Pop Warner teams are playing the mascots? That's kind of what it looked like. They're still waiting.
You say it felt like kids against adults. Like, again, you could look at it that way. If you've got 17, 18, 19-year-olds playing against 22, 23, 24.
Worse than that.
Yeah.
It felt like Little League against Major League.
Yeah. No, it did. It really did. And you get into a game like that, it's 21-0 before you blink your eyes. What are you going to do? Like, there's no way out, right? I mean, what are you going to do to minimize that damage? Because it's, the game was over 5 minutes in.
Easy. Let's get you on here. If Fran comes on, we'll jettison you. All right. So what's up?
No problem. Cut me right off. So it's amazing how much one position matters in the game of football. But you mentioned how you still have faith in Fran. Well, I've gone from maybe 100% down to 50. I mean, the guy's still a great recruiter. You don't know what's going to happen. But my biggest complaint is these two backup quarterbacks, they are the worst kids at that position I have ever seen in college football.
Easy, we got to jump in on you. We do have Fran Brown. We knew that was going to happen. Let's go to Fran Brown's.
Coach, I did not have our team prepared, ready to go in and compete or play at all. They're an outstanding football team. Coach Marcus Freeman and his staff did a really good job. And I have to prepare our team way better. It is completely unacceptable. I want to apologize to Syracuse, the community, our football staff for not even helping them prepare well enough. Alumni, fan base, just everyone that has anything, any love or heart to care about Syracuse football at all. I just want to make sure you know I apologize. That won't happen again. Hold me responsible, and it's completely unacceptable. With that being said, I want to make sure I understand I'll be moving on to be able to play Boston College, our last game at home. Bill O'Brien has done a really good job with his team. His team fights week in and week out, and they do a real good job. The offensive coordinator, Will Lawing, Tim Lewis, the defensive coordinator and special teams, Matt Thurland, they all do really well. Offensively, Bond is a kid that I think he's a really good wide receiver. Reed Harris is doing really well. Franklin, Dawson, they got a bunch of guys doing well. And I think on the defensive side of the ball, I like Thornton a lot when I'm watching them. Number 2, Price, KP Price does a really good job. And they just got a bunch of guys that play well. Owen McGowan's a really good football player. The quarterback, they've been mixture with both of those guys. But Dylan, number 9, is pretty good. And Grayson James, number 3, those guys do a good job of just moving around and being able to do stuff. This is a team that has passed for 3,000 yards, rushed for just over 1,000 something, and I'm pretty sure they're going to do a good job to come here and play us. We're excited to play them. This is a big game for us, a big game for them, and it's a much needed game for both organizations going into the offseason.
Questions? We'll start with Dan right in front.
Fran, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing well. You spoke about apologizing to Syracuse and to the fans and everything. You've said that before this season. You've also celebrated and said nobody deserved the win over Clemson more than the city of Syracuse. So speaking with the city, speaking with the community and the fan base, overall, what do you want them to know as we step forward?
I'm just developing a program. I would love for them to just stick with me, understand, bet on us. If you just see all the guys that are on the field that are young, you see the other guys that are older, you see the guys that are coming back, and just what we're building. Just watch what we do next week when signing day comes on the 3rd. Watch what happens as we hit the portal and things of that nature. Make the right decisions, right? Watch the guys that we bring in to be able to back up Steve and to be able to help Steve out, depending on how things go, to compete with Steve, right? Steve's a competitor, so he wants us to bring guys in that can compete to be able to play here right away. So I'm excited and eager about the future, but most importantly, just watch us this weekend, and then that'll tell you who we are after the performance that was displayed last weekend.
And then as far as just the culture of everything right now, I mean, it's hard when you lose 7 games in a row for a team to stay up and stay around each other. So just what that dynamic's been like, what you've seen from the student athletes, from the coaching staff, and how you're all kind of mixing
I think
together.
they've all been good. They've been handling as well as you can handle it. I think they're following myself, so I'm upbeat about everything. I just always see the good, right? That glass is half empty to me. I mean, half full. It's probably look half empty to everyone else, but to me, it's half full. And I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited about the future. I can't wait to play this weekend, but I can't wait to signing day. I can't wait to get into the portal. I can't wait to get back January 11th when the guys come back so we can start winter workouts, things of that nature. And I'm eager for next year already, but I'm excited about this week, thankful for this week. And as I just said, the glass is half full for me, right? I've been through so many things and trials and tribulations in my life that losing these games right now is something I had to go through, right? Being able to go and see Notre Dame this past weekend and have a chance to lose there. I mean, it sucks that you lose that football game, but in the same sense, I've seen what I want to build. I've seen fourth quarter how they all stayed at the game. The entire fan base was there. The lights went out and everybody was there with their lights on, and just all those little details and little things that are important that Syracuse is able to get that same thing. And I won't stop until that happens. When you see the Dome fourth quarter, we're winning the game and everyone's there, sold out. I'm excited about it, and I just know it's going to happen. So I'm going to continue to work. I'm not going to skip a beat. I'm not going to get afraid. I know there's some people that may be, and sorry you feel like that, because that's because of the performance that we put on, but we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
We'll go to Samantha and then Javon.
Coach, when you talk to recruits and their families, how honest are you with them about your feelings about this year, and what do you say to them in order to make sure that they still feel that this is the right program for them?
I'm extremely honest with them, and they can see. So we just speak about the game possibly, but I just talk to them about everything. Yeah, I'm very open, I'm very honest, and they understand where they are. They understand the role that they'll have coming in, and then I understand and know the role that they want. So that kind of still is all on the same page, and then they can still see the progression, and they can see what we're doing and where we are. So that's why things are going the way they are.
What's your message to them in order to make sure they still feel committed to coming here as opposed to other schools?
I'm still here. Yeah, I'm not going to leave, and any changes will just be for the better. There wouldn't be any changes to make it worse.
We'll go to Javon and then Chris.
Friend, you've had guys like Devin, Deuce, Austin, Justice, like senior leaders that have been banged up for a good part of the season. How much does that go into what you see on the field, and then, their position groups' as overall preparation, seeing as though those guys are big voices in those rooms?
It's just a part of life. You got to learn to move on, right? And I feel bad for those guys because being seniors, and they had tough, we had a lot, like you just named 4 guys that literally couldn't play all year, and when they get out there, they can only be out there a little bit due to the injuries and things of that nature, but it's part of life. They got to get the next guys up. They just so happen to be a lot of freshmen and young guys in those spots. But, look on the bright side. Next year, they won't be nervous. They've already been in the spotlight. They've already been out there. And it'll just help us. Instead of letting everything bake and simmer, it's like microwave now, right? It's going to be fast. Those guys will be ready to play real quick.
And then for Saturday, have you guys decided if it's still going to be Joe's turn to go out there? Is it going to be another competition in practice this week?
Sure, I was going to call you and let you pick. Nah, we're going to Joe will go out there and still play a little competition. I think it's one other guy that's healthy enough to get an opportunity, so we'll see how that goes with those guys and just give them a chance to go out there and compete. And got to give Joe a chance to redeem himself.
Frank, who's the other guy that's healthy enough to go out, if you're willing to say?
Well, we're not going to go with Luke because I want Luke to redshirt. So I think Rich should be good. Rich should get the opportunity to go out and try and compete, and we'll see how that goes.
And then, when you say that you should have prepared the team better for Notre Dame, is there anything that you look back over those 2 weeks and say, like, I should have done this or I shouldn't have done that?
No, I should have prepared them to be down 21-0 and continue to fight. Like, I should have just prepared them because, anything could happen. The game could get out of hand for us really fast. The game get out of hand is how we got to be able to come back. These are the things that has to happen. I didn't talk about that. I didn't go on down in depth of that nature. I just talked about there will be a storm and we're going to have to survive the storm, going through different things of that nature, but I didn't expect it to be 21-0 before the defense even hit the field, and on the second play, they already score again. So there's things like that I got to make sure that I wrote down to always be able to talk about and be able to calm everybody down and push forward.
And you're always somebody who's trying to get better. When you sort of self-scout yourself from this season, is there a scenario that you wished you'd handled differently or you would do differently if you had a chance to do it again?
Yeah. Pitt, right before half, trying to give Ricky an opportunity to get some confidence and momentum. I should have just ran the ball and got out of the half, being down. I think it was probably been 10 or something like that. I'm not sure what the score would have been, but I feel like that, being able to have to punt them the ball down, the opportunity, should have tried to run the clock down a little bit more and just doing a better job with that piece of it. I feel like that one game was a little bit different. There's a lot of scenarios, but that's one that I could give you. There's other things you want to be able to fix. Bob, what you think? Which one you got?
What's that?
You got one for me?
You're a lot smarter about that than I am.
It's a good question. Good answer.
We'll go Maddie and then Brent.
Fran, looking at the last game against BC, last home game, kind of an opportunity for you to end the season on a good note. How much are you stressing kind of the importance of not only, ending the season with a win, but also sending the seniors out on senior day with a win?
That's extremely important. That's a major part of just college football, right? End of the year, not being able to become bowl eligible, going into the off season. You know, you want to make sure you do that the right way, and then for those seniors, it's important that they go out. So that's extremely. That's everywhere, though, right? That's everywhere. Everybody in the country get an opportunity to do that and go there. So definitely going to push that as hard as possible.
Fran, losing your starting quarterback is obviously a big factor in what happened this year. But other than injuries, what are some of the avoidable things that you saw this year that you'll key on for next year that you'll have to clean up to avoid having another losing season?
Just the way we're going to operate offensively. You know, you can't just have that one system. So there'll be a system piece that we're working on and being able to put in. For me, the best time to show that is going to be opposite, right? There's no need in having everybody being able to prepare for it right now and do those things. We do definitely have to go out and win, and win this game is important. But just being able to have it set now, just in case this kid has to play and that kid plays, and these are the things that will be set on. Being able to adapt, I didn't think we did the best job of that, and that's kind of on myself, but I'll be ready for that 100%, locked in and having a system that'll fit no matter who's there to play. They'll be fit.
What would you say, a lot of that was offensively, how would you just address that on the defensive side of the ball?
Just a better job of tackling. Got to make sure you do a better job of tackling. It feels like a lot of one-line of defense, you know. You can't consistently have that. You got to make sure guys understand and know where they are. Just being able to help, you know, second-level defenders, being able to tackle better in open field. Do a better job at being able to do that with certain second-level defenders, and those being just whoever's on second level. I don't want to point out any particular position group, being able to do that, and just giving everybody some training at corner. I feel like the corners have been doing a really good job covering, and being able to teach everyone to have some of that same training, because those guys are doing a really good job.
Coach, obviously Saturday being senior day, but is there also an emphasis on getting younger players some in-game reps?
Always. That's what it's been since we, you know, haven't been able to win a conference championship or go through it. It's all about developing and being ready for the future. It's all about having an opportunity of coming back after the season is done and competing to try to win every game, of course. But it's always about developing those young guys, getting those guys in, getting those guys ready, so that way when we all hit the field next year, I don't have to worry about he's too young, or this guy's that, or he's still a little bit nervous, he hasn't been in yet. Everybody will be ready to go. They'll be locked in. Jamie Treble's getting better daily at the things that he do. Demetrius getting better. Byron Washington's getting better. Jada Mann got a chance to get in and play 19 snaps. He's completely getting better. He's going to compete to start next year. There's so many guys that are consistently getting better. Darren Williams is playing a lot. Dante doing a heck of a job. May end up going back to tight end now because he's gaining weight and doing all the stuff that's needed. So there's a lot of things that we've done and that we're pushing to allow guys to see it. Caleb Singleton's now in the rotation consistently. He's doing a really good job. So there'll be a lot that we'll continue to work on, continue to do, and it'll help us a lot.
Coach, along the same lines, with the young guys that are now starting to get into games after, you know, developing their freshman year, what are the next things that you want to see from them in order for you to have confidence for the upcoming year?
They got to get stronger and keep maturing mentally and physically. You know, you get stronger mentally, get stronger physically, continue to mature in those areas. Just handle all their business the right way. They might be sophomores, you may be freshmen, sophomores, or juniors coming up, but I want them to all act and treat it as if I'm a senior, right? It goes so fast. So I want to take full advantage of the opportunity that we have daily. Coaching, take full advantage of the details that you're teaching the players, so that way they understand and know all those little intricate details that will allow us to get an extra yard, that will allow us to to form another block, to make a tackle, and those eventually can turn into wins. So just all those little things like that will help a lot.
We're Dan in front, and then we'll go 3 more with Chris, Maddie, and Samantha.
Coach, playing all these guys that are true freshmen or, you know, coming in here for their first season, just what that says to your recruits as you get set. Like you said, you're excited for those recruits and signing day and all that. What it says about Syracuse's program, that you are playing right away, you are getting meaningful reps. Despite the losses this season, how can you build on the positive of playing guys early?
Well, I don't think that's going to happen again next year in that same manner. We're going to have some freshmen play, but not a whole lot, because we got a lot of guys coming back that have already cut their teeth a little bit. bit, and to be a little bit more mature. Unless they come in and they're just way more mature than them, this won't be a regular basis thing that'll happen. But we're gonna have some really good freshmen signing, guys that'll be signing that can play on another level. A couple 4 stars, 5 different things of that nature. So that always help with those guys to play. But you just got to look at the position and look at the rotation. Right, see how many guys are playing in the secondary, right? See how many guys are playing, but don't just look at it now. Go back and look when we did play at Clemson during the time when we played them. See how we kept consistently rotating guys and giving everyone an opportunity to get in the game, being able to play. It's something that we do, right? It's something that I'm on. If you're old enough and you know enough, then you should play. Right, you just got to be mature enough to get on the field and not embarrass the S, yourself, and the others. But that's what makes sense.
Take one each from Chris. Right back to Maddie.
Fran, you mentioned starting to look towards the future after you couldn't win an ACC championship anymore. I think I would have handled it the same way. But do you think it hurt the ability to focus on the present?
No, I never talked about the future. I just understand and know what's coming. Okay. I have common sense, so it wasn't like, oh, I'm just not trying to win these football games. I'm kind of trying to win the games daily. I'm trying to win the days, right? The game of life. So it wasn't that piece of it. It was like, okay, I could play this guy. This guy and that guy are the same. They're on the same level right now. This freshman that's caught up to where this guy is will make me keep playing this guy that may be a senior and not play that guy. If they're on the same level, I'm going to have more time with him. Right, I want to make sure that I'm consistently building a program. So the way that a program could go down is if I would have never played Caleb Singleton. And then someone else goes down next year, and now this is Caleb's first time getting in. Now, next year, even though he may have been a redshirt freshman, it's like he's a true freshman with no experience. The best experience is game experience, and it's so much better, and I learned that myself this year, having people with no experience and just thinking that, oh, okay, to work or to go, nothing is like it until you get in that game. And it doesn't matter who you play. All that matters is that you play in the game and then you're able to see and know, because they get to check themselves and know how much more I can work. I understand and I know, wow, if I'm ready or if I'm not ready. So that helps a lot. So by no means was it like season's done. No, it was just they're even. Who would you play? The senior, freshman. They're even. Who you gonna play? The junior, the freshman, right? When neither one of them have ever gotten a game.
When you start to play those younger guys, does it hurt your leadership, though? Because those older guys are generally, more setting the tone for the team. Nah, leaders going to compete regardless. Leaders going to be leaders. Like Dan Villari is the leader of our football team. Jack Stonehouse is the leader of our football team. Demetrius Witherspoon, he's a leader of our football team. Then you got a bunch of other guys that play their roles or what their roles may be. Some of those young guys are more of a leader. That's the thing that I think everyone always went on. Just because you've been in a school for 4 years don't mean you got to lead. Do things the right way and you're a leader. Do things consistently. Like, is your name on the class list? Nope. Don't matter if you're a freshman or if you're a senior. If you consistently go to class and do it all the right way and all the time, then you lead it. Bring other people with you, right? It's not just about, well, I've been here and this. There's people that have been in the company and worked in the company so long, and they just get stuck in their ways. That's why they bring new people in, and then you got to do stuff over, and you got to move it every couple of years. You need to shake the company up a little bit anyway, just to make sure that everybody love their job and they want to work and they're excited about coming, and they're not just going through the motions. I call it the monotony of football, or they're not just coming in, just going through the motions all week, and thinking it's that way. No, it has to be. There's definitely a process, but you got to be process-oriented when you're doing this and be excited about what it is you're doing and love the job. And players got to love it. The leaders got to love it. And new leaders are formed daily. Leaders are formed daily,
We'll take one each from Maddie and Samantha.
Fran, we saw Cinco have a big play in the NFL yesterday. To show, someone with kind of like that Dart mentality to keep on going through, getting knocked over, tumbling around, what do you think that shows kind of the younger guys on your team? Like, not only, are you able to kind of have a player from Syracuse make it and be able to make an impact on the NFL, but also kind of that mentality of, keep going even if you literally get pushed down?
It's all the same thing I'm always telling the guys. You might get knocked down 99 times, but the reason they know you're successful because you got up 100. Cinco is an example of what Dart is, of how we continue to work. I recruited him when I was at Rutgers. I played high school ball with his dad, been around him for his whole life. And I had a lot of coaches send me that clip and say, I'm showing this at my team meeting today, I'm gonna show this today. And when I seen Camden, they didn't realize Camden, Rutgers, and Syracuse, I guess you know this kid. I thought that it was great. I was happy for him, super excited for him, mad because I like the Eagles at the fumble, but I was great. I was happy about the whole piece of it, but I'm so happy for him, man. He works his butt off, and just what I wish I had 11 more guys that can be like Cinco, right? You want 11 Cincos on the field all the time, and that's what we're creating right now, right? Just see a lot of guys where you guys will be able to watch it, and you'll see this next game afterwards next year, first game, spring ball, just all the times you'll come out and you'll see, okay, they're getting that mindset. Okay, they got that dog in them, that mindset. They're thinking like Fran, right? They're acting like him. They're taking over his mindset right now. You can see that, right?
Coach, in the 2023 bowl game for Syracuse, they lose to South Florida 45-0, and players said at that time that you told them they would never experience a loss like that again. Given the way that this past weekend unfolded, what is your new message to them now?
I don't have a new message. I just didn't prepare them the right way. The message is going to be the same. You got to come in, you got to compete, you got to work. Yeah, there's not a new message or to go through anything of that nature.
All right, thanks, everybody. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
All right, that was Fran Brown's weekly press conference. We've got to take a timeout. We've got Chancellor Johnson standing by, covers Houston for the Big 12 Conference. We'll talk Syracuse-Houston basketball next on ESPN Radio.
John Frost & Sons Furniture and Flooring are proud supporters of Syracuse football radio coverage. We are the pulse of the Orange. ESPN Radio 97.7 and 100.1.
Get ready, Central New York, because this weekend, the most indulgent event of the season returns. It's the Wine and Chocolate Festival, happening this Saturday, November 29th at the New York State Fairgrounds. Sip, savor, and sample your way through unlimited tastings from dozens of incredible local and regional wineries, plus your favorite distilleries and cideries. It's the perfect excuse for a mom's day out, a unique date, or a fun afternoon with friends before the holiday rush kicks in. And yes, your sweet tooth is covered. Stop by our famous chocolate taps. Explore decadent treats from artisan chocolatiers and shop delicious holiday gifts you won't find anywhere else. So whether you're swirling, sipping, or sampling something new, this weekend is all about treating yourself. And be sure to capture your memories at the Eastview Mall photo booth. Tickets are limited and going fast, so grab yours now before they're gone. Head to wineandchocolatefestivals.com and get ready for a day of pure delicious indulgence. Don't miss it, the Wine and Chocolate Festival, this Saturday at the New York State Fairgrounds.
At QSCars.com, we're putting our money on you.
For 25 years, Q's Cars has been putting people in their new car. And Whitaker Auto Group has been doing
I can fire you, and I can also give you Friday off. So you have Friday off. We'll just do a football game.
Yes, you can fire me. You're not going to fire me, but you just want to remind me every day that you can.
Did you know Black Friday wasn't a thing? And I think it was FDR moved Thanksgiving to a floating Thursday so that they would always get the sales day.
I did not know that.
You want me to ask Ed?
What? You can do whatever you want.
Someone wants to know what Ed would do if I fired Steve. Should I tell you?
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for letting us know.
Well, for you, you know, the one that has decided to have that holiday party, the one that does enjoy the company to get together for the holidays, you're going to want to have it at the place that created the holiday party, Syracuse. All right, we didn't create it, but we did take it to the next level. Syracuse can host your holiday party, whether you have a
How do you know he would veto me? What would be the reason I told him? Like, what if I said Steve is insufferable and I can't work with him anymore? He keeps bread in his closet at work.
It's not in my closet. It's in my desk.
Even worse, he keeps bread in his desk.
Sometimes.
I think the show would be fine without him. I'm very good at my job. Steve's come a dime a dozen. Paulie's don't.
I'm a dime a dozen?
Yeah, you're just typical TV news guy. Boring.
That's hurtful.
This is Orange Nation.
Now, I can say it, right?
Yes.
It's a banger, Steve.
All right, we are back on Orange Nation. Fran Brown announcing Joe Filardi will start at quarterback on Saturday, so that ends the doubt there. Luke Carney will not play. They'll preserve his red shirt, and even said Rich Beelan may see his first action of the season, the true freshman quarterback. But now we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk basketball for the next 10 minutes or so with Chancellor Johnson. He covers the Houston Cougars for the Big 12 Conference as we get you set for Syracuse-Houston tonight out in Las Vegas. Chancellor, thanks so much for coming out. We appreciate the time. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Excited for a great week of basketball. Obviously, the Players Era Tournament. And starting off with Houston versus Syracuse, it should be a good one out there in Vegas.
All right, so let's jump in on this Houston team because they've obviously been very good here for the last several seasons. How does this year's team, and I know it's a smaller sample size that you have to work with right now, Chance, but how does this team compare with the previous handful of Houston Cougar squads?
Well, first things first, the thing that hasn't changed is the defense, right? They're still a defensive-minded team led by Kelvin Sampson, and that kind of goes back to their culture that they love to throw around. You can't talk about Houston basketball without talking about culture, and that's something that Kelvin Sampson has certainly built over the past few years, particularly a winning one. But the thing this year about Houston is they're led by their freshmen. Kingston Flemings, their point guard, he leads the team in points per game and assists per game. Their leading rebounder is Chris Senac Jr., and that's something that's pretty unique because if you know anything about Kelvin Sampson, it's usually an upperclassman-led team, but he brought in one of the top recruiting classes in the country last year. There's another player off the bench named Isaiah Harwell, another 5-star. So they had 3 5-star players this year, and immediately we've seen their impact. We're talking about 2 guys who could be lottery picks in Flemings and Chris Senac Jr., and they're also flanked by returners like Emmanuel Sharp, who a lot of people might remember him from how it ended in that Florida game, the national championship. And then Milos Uzan, another guy who's a Big 12 type of guy who's all Big 12 type of player. So a really well-balanced team, but this year those freshmen are certainly leading the charge.
5 straight seasons now that Houston has finished in the top 5 of KenPom. And, Kelvin Sampson said something interesting the other day. He talked about playing in the Players Era tournament or a tournament like this. And he said they have to do it at Houston because they have a smaller budget compared to some of the other top programs. Do you get the sense in hearing from Kelvin Sampson and following him the last several years that he is able to do more with less, so to speak?
I would say yes. However, the thing about Kelvin Sampson too is he'll tell you like, "Hey, we don't go after every single top guy. Like, we find guys who we feel like fit our system, right?" And if you look back on some of their top players over the past few years, Jamal Shead was a 3-star guy. He ended up being the unanimous Big 12 Player of the Year and unanimous All-American just a couple of years ago. Another guy, Marcus Sasser, who plays for the Detroit Pistons now off the bench. He's another guy who was an All-American type guy. He was another guy who flew under the radar, and so they're happy with finding guys who aren't necessarily the sparkling diamonds, coming out of their high school class. But at the same time, if they want to go get players, they certainly can. And look, he kind of joked about it earlier about we have to play in tournaments like these, for the NIL budget, but they're well taken care of. U of H, they know that this is a premier program and they treat it as such. And so, as I mentioned, Kelvin Sampson, they go out and they get who they want. And this year, it just so happened to be 3 5-star guys.
Yeah, and you look at the traditionally, you talked about the defense right off the bat, and you said the defense is still there. And I know you touched on this earlier in this interview, but I was watching them the other night, and against Rider, they make 7 3-pointers in the first half. It seems like this team can score as well, and that's a lesser opponent, but it looks like they've got some more offensive firepower than maybe in recent years. Do you think that of all these teams Kelvin Sampson has had, do you think this one has the potential maybe to be the best of the bunch, given the fact they can score the basketball?
I certainly think so. And the reason being is not just because they can score the basketball, but also they just have the most upside because of these young players that they have on the team here. And in previous years, kind of what you see is what you get. But I think Kelvin Sampson has talked about it earlier about like, hey, we're not the same team. And of course, no team will be, but like he really believes there is an unlimited ceiling because of some of these young players. And I think if you're a Syracuse fan, now's the time to get them right now. Like I believe they moved down to number 4 in the polling, at least on the coaches one. Last week they were number 2. And if I'm being candid, I don't necessarily believe that they're the number 2 best team in the country. And that's just because I think there are a few teams that might be better off to play them right now. Now, what will they look like come November when Kingston Flemings, as I mentioned, who's averaging 17-5, continues to get better and goes through some more challenges like a Syracuse and like some of the other teams they'll play in the Players Era tournament. When they go through the Big 12 and have to play BYU, Arizona, Iowa State, some of these top teams in the country, what will they look like, towards the end of the season? This is going to be a very dangerous team. So yes, I do believe that, offensively and just their overall potential, they have certainly an opportunity to not only get back to another Final Four and another national championship, but this time finally get the thing that's been eluding Kelvin Sampson his entire career, and that's a national championship.
They did test themselves once already out of conference. That was the Auburn game, 73-72 winners. You mentioned Kingston Flemings and how talented he is, 22.7 assists in that game. What stood out to you from that one big test that Houston passed a couple weeks ago?
Well, one, I just wanted to see how they would fare in that one, especially with this young group. And so, of course, when you take it on a team like Auburn, an SEC team, physical, more athletic than some of the, group of 5 teams that you might be, like some of the now power conference teams that they've been playing, like a Rider or some of the other teams early on. I thought Kingston Flemings and Chris Senac Jr., they responded really well. Chris Senac, he had, I believe, like 18 and 8 in that game, and so he was a monster on the boards. The thing is, he just couldn't stop himself from getting in foul trouble. And another guy who we haven't even talked about yet is JoJo Tugler, who I think could go on to be the National Defensive Player of the Year. He and Chris Senac Jr. make for one of the best front courts in the entire country. He's another guy who last year was on the all-defensive team nationally, and he started to open up his game as well offensively. They have him start shooting threes, which if you've been following the Houston Cougars, that's like, whoa, like since when has JoJo Tugler been able to do that? But I thought they responded well overall, and especially down the stretch. If you watch that game versus Auburn had opportunities to win that game late, but Houston did what they always do, and that's get stops late down the stretch. And so, it was a learning lesson for them, but it also helps that, at the end of the day, it went into the win column. I'm excited to see them, today against Syracuse, who, as another top defensive team. They're 1-2 as far as opponent points per game. So I imagine it'll be a low-scoring game, but it should be a fun one and a good test for the Houston Cougars.
Yeah, and along those lines, that's where I was going last year, Chancellor, was just what do you expect tonight? Just to give us a point of reference, Ken Pom has it as 76-65 Houston win. There's some rumors out there that Donnie Freeman might not be able to play tonight for Syracuse given an injury, which would obviously be a big loss for the Orange. But from a Houston perspective, I guess, how are you looking for this game to play itself out?
Yeah, it's for me. I want to see if Milos Uzan and Emmanuel Sharp can have another one of the better games, because so far this season it has been a freshman movement. They've led the charge, and really it's been interesting that the seniors in Emmanuel Sharp and Uzan have taken a back seat. And so when you get into these these tournaments, especially these early season ones, you're facing tougher competition. You're going to need some of your upperclassmen to step up, and especially when you talk about this players are a tournament where you have potentially 3 games back to back to back. It's going to wear on your legs, and that's something they mentioned too of the challenge that it has on them physically to play 3 games in a row, especially when you think about how hard Houston plays. I mean, they dive at each and every single loose ball. They're super physical on box outs. And so I'm interested to see how the Syracuse front court responds as well too. Right. And for some teams, this is something that I've noticed as well. If you're not used to playing Houston, you're right. If you're not used to playing them in the Big 12 or previously before that in the AAC, sometimes it can be like a shock for you, right? Like everybody knows when you play Houston, it's going to be a physical game. They're going to be aggressive defensively, but sometimes you can see it on film. It's different when you actually go up against it and play on it in person. So I'm interested to see how Syracuse fares on that, particularly that physicality early on, and that can help dictate the way this game goes on throughout this matchup.
It's the way they used to talk about Syracuse in the NCAA tournament with that 2-3 zone, that you can't replicate it in practice, that you got to see it up close and personal to really feel what it's all about. Chancellor, thanks so much for coming on. Really great insight. We appreciate the time. Enjoy the game tonight, and hopefully we can check in with you again down the road.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Chancellor Johnson covers the Houston Cougars for the Big 12 Conference, Paulie.
Not the good news you're looking for from John Rothstein, Steve, but Tyler Betsy is available tonight.
Yes, I saw that. Yes, I saw that while Fran Brown was talking. So that is a good thing.
Yes, you've got at least 7.3 points per game coming back to you.
Well, he may see more minutes tonight.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a timeout. We're very much behind here. We'll try to get back on time. We are back after this on ESPN Radio.
Dear Savvy, we can have it all the tech and all the value of Toyota in a new 26 Corolla from Burdick Toyota. Come test drive, then lease your new 26.
Kyan Anthony can play the 3 or 4. Can Kyan? Yes, Kyan can. And I told you anybody could replace Steve. Dime a dozen. No, bring back the cute. Kyan can do anything. He can play the 5, the 4, the 3, the 2, the 1. He can coach the team. I am not sold that Syracuse won't keep this competitive. No, I won't. Where did you go to school, Gaper? Are they proud of you?
Gaper, where'd you see that? Did they post something? I'm curious to see it.
Gaper likes to troll the high school websites looking for information. He's that type of person. He likes the high school pages. I can get personal too. Steven. He was on his daily Bishop Ludden look, and he found it. Yeah, they have me do scared straight. They bring me in and they have me sitting in school suspension with those kids like I used to. I sit in their little cubby all day. I didn't play any sports, Gaber. Is that like a shot at me? Don't hate me because I do the job you want. You sit in a chat giving your takes. I get paid for it. How bad does Syracuse basketball have to lose tonight? Well, it might not be a high-scoring game. I would say... how about 30? 30? Is 30 equal? What? Of a loss equal what happened to...
No. 70-7?
70 to 40?
No,
Syracuse?
it's worse than that.
70 to 30? 40 points? A 40-point basketball loss?
Yeah. 70-7 is historic. I mean, they've lost games by 30 before. I mean, obviously it's not fun, but that's happened before.
Heck, like me sharing an office doesn't have anything to do with anything but company space. You're making fun of the company more than me.
If they lost by 40, I think that would feel similar to what we saw Saturday. Yeah, right. Right. Who could forget that DePaul game? 40 or more, I would say. Something like
Dear God, don't let that happen. Why are you guys talking about that?
This is Orange Nation.
Steve, Lights on the Lake is coming back. Do you like that? Do we even have time to do anything? Do you want to take a time out here?
Just bring Tim in. And we'll
lightsonthelake.com for more information.
We'll do today's business, and then this is up to you. We're so far behind. We can either wrap up the show when we're done with Tim, or we can come back and wrap up the show. It's up to you.
What do you got? What kind of business do you have, buddy? After everything that.
Well, the biggest form of business is
someone broke his headphones.
I don't need them. I'll just tell you, today's business is brought to you by Superior Plus Propane, of course.
Someone used my headphones while we were gone. It must be because those are broken. I came in and my headphones were just sitting here.
Those headphones?
Yeah, yeah.
I know who did, and he asked me. He's like, "Do you think Paulie would mind?" And I said, "No."
You don't have the right to answer that, Steve. There's your business. Do you think Paulie would mind? Ask Paulie. But is it hard to text somebody?
You were on the road.
But phone. We have phone. It's not
okay.
It's not.
I honestly didn't think you would care. Now I
don't care.
Now I know.
But ask me, not you. It's not that we don't have the Pony Express. He can reach me in 2 seconds, whoever it was.
Okay.
I'm sure they have my phone number. Hey, can I use your headphones? You don't have the right to give.
I'll take the blame for that.
Yeah, you don't control that. Like if he asks for my phone number, you say, "Let me check with him." Okay. Right? Wouldn't you do that?
I would
with
do that.
anything.
I would do that
for you. All right.
You're right. I'll take the blame for that.
Go ahead.
Paulie, I think I need you to walk me through your take again that it's a good thing for Syracuse.
I didn't say it was a good thing. All right.
Okay, well, clarify the take for everyone.
Clarify the take. All right, here we go. If Syracuse is good and is competitive against Houston, keeps it within 10, right? They go out. They're competitive with Kansas, keep it within 10.
Assuming Donnie is not playing.
Assuming Donnie is not playing. They then can maybe get a win or are competitive again against another quad one team in this tournament. Donnie comes back later in the year and you start knocking off the upper echelon teams of the ACC. The tournament committee will look back on these games differently than they would have if they lost them with Donnie. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm saying there is a silver lining to this injury if the team is good.
So what you're saying is if they lose by 9 without Donnie, that's better than if they lose by 9 with Donnie.
Correct.
I would agree with that.
Correct.
But with Donnie, I feel like they could have won a couple of games, which would be better than losing the games.
Yes, but that's not the hand you've been dealt right now.
Right.
You're creating a half full twist on it, which I'm not against. I'm worried that this is going to be like your Ricky Collins take, that you wanted him to take over for Steve Angeli, and people are going to misinterpret it.
It did not happen. Ricky Collins did not take over for Steve Angeli. It didn't mean that I didn't want it to happen. I want Syracuse to go out and be competitive without Donnie Freeman. I'm a fan. Is that a bad thing to not want?
No, it's not a bad thing that you want them to keep it close. I think what would be better for Red is if he could coach a team that was fully healthy for a while against good teams and see if they can win. Because, that's how you get to the tournament. They're not going to get to the tournament with close losses. Now, to your point, you're saying that they might be forgiven later in the year.
If they're good.
But
this could work in their advantage.
But this is also a huge stretch of games that we've talked about endlessly, how important it is for them to get some wins here, and we might not see Donnie Freeman on the court for a huge stretch of games. Yeah. So it's also just bad news if it is.
You're being positive. I think that this is devastating.
It is.
If he's out for a significant amount of time.
If they're bad, this is devastating.
I think it's just bad news.
It is, guys.
If
but
he's out.
You want them still to go out and win. They've got depth. Can you replace it this year? Can you replace him? Is Tyler Betsy better than Lucas?
Do we agree he's their best player?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is Tyler Betsy a better replacement than Lucas Taylor?
Yes, of course he is.
I also think you start Sadiq White for sure.
Is Sadiq White better than Lucas Taylor? You've got options this year. Let's see if any of them can come out and play.
Yes, they can come out and play. I think losing your best player, even if you're really deep, is damaging to your chances. Like the Warriors without Steph, or the Lakers without Luka, or if you lose your best player, even if you've got really good players behind him,
this isn't losing Angeli.
No, but this is losing your best player.
What did we say all last year when Donnie and JJ didn't play?
Yeah, but you're only losing one of them this year. And you also have you don't have Kyle Cuff. You've got Kyan Anthony. You've got better options. Let's see how it plays out.
I think the biggest concern,
you guys are being so
is,
negative.
Well, it's tough news if it's true. It's hard not to look at it with a realistic lens of this is tough news. And I think the biggest concern, if it is Donnie out for a little bit here, is J.J. Starlin and Donnie Freeman have been pretty injury prone over the last 2 years. And I'm not saying that's anyone to blame. It's just that's the reality of it, and that's the unfortunate nature of the situation.
Yeah, we're going to find out right now if the depth is better like we've been told. And if it is, keep it close. Go out. You guys are, okay, they're not going to win. Guys, don't watch the game tonight. Nobody watch the game.
This is what I was going to say to that, is that we don't need to see tonight to know that the depth is better. The depth is better. This team is better. But they might lose by 20 tonight. Because Houston's
you
that
were
good,
saying
right?
that before they.
I know, but
before Donnie got hurt.
You just said we might find out tonight if the depth, or we're going to find out tonight if the depth is better. The depth is better. This team is better.
All right, well, let's find out. I don't know that.
We already know that.
We do?
I agree.
Yes, we already know that.
Okay.
This team is better.
All right.
But I don't know that we're going to be able to see that tonight. So I hope it doesn't all hinge on tonight.
Already. So I don't know why you're saying we don't know it now. I mean,
I would tend to think so, but we're going to see it against Houston. We've been saying we don't know what we've got till they play these games. We don't know how good the depth is till you play these games.
Well, you also have said that when you play against Houston, the number 2 team in the country, that might not be the best first game to know what you have. I mean, it might still be, they can't stack up with Houston, but a lot of teams can't stack up with Houston
without their best player.
Yes.
All right. It's
we'll find out.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. That's a great way to end the show.
What if they do come out and play good today, guys? Have you thought of that?
Ewing theory for Donnie Freeman. Let's start that.
I hope they do, but I just
can't imagine.
I don't think it's a good thing that Donnie's not out there.
I know that's not what you meant.
That's not what I said.
I was
you
just
guys
out
are
there
so
thinking
dumb.
to myself, this is going to be the same thing as Ricky Collins, and the listeners are going to be like, why did Paulie think this was a good thing? Which I was trying to get you to clarify.
I understand what you're saying, but we're not going to know if what you're saying is accurate for like 2 more months.
All right, yes.
Right? And so in the here and now, this is tough news.
Let's go out and be competitive against Houston, with or without him.
Okay, go team. Are we done, or are we going to take a break?
I think that's the show.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
Double up the break. Let's call it. I mean, it's
I hate the fact that me wanting the best for the teams, no matter what, as a fan, is it disturbs people.
It's not disturbing. It's just this is bad news.
It is.
Like, there's no I appreciate you trying to be positive.
See a silver lining?
Right, but I think it's tough for everybody to see the silver lining today. This is
you
just
said it
this
yourself.
is just bad news.
This is a hot take. Let me throw this at you guys. All we're doing is responding to what you clarified or what you said was a hot take.
I would say that they'll probably lose by around 20, but if they come out and shock me, it could be a good thing. Thank you.
Did he just hit puberty again?
I can't argue with that.
I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Why is my
argue with
blind
that.
optimism always so?
I can't argue with that.
I want whoever replaces Donnie Freeman to take his spot.
Never give a shot.
Yes, I do. That's exactly what I want. I want that. I want him to come out and play better than Donnie Freeman. If he does
I want Donnie Freeman to be healthy. How about that?
Yes, that would be great. I don't think that's going to happen.
All right, Tim.
Smoke, fire.
Tim, real quick.
I heard Mr. Miyagi's. I heard Mr. Miyagi's out there right now rubbing his hands next to Donnie Freeman's boot.
But that's good.
That worked well.
We'll remind people, Gio will have pregame from 5 to 6 in the normal drive time slot. So you still will have radio to look forward to, Q Sports Talk content to look forward to, and then he'll be back for postgame to talk about whatever happens against Houston.
I hope he brings his own headphones today.
Usually does.
Aren't I doing the postgame today?
No, he just said Gio on pregame.
I'm doing Gio's pregame.
I just said I hope he brings his own headphones.
Did I get that wrong?
I will. I'm doing a watch party and a postgame. So
oh, my God.
Yeah.
A lot of Paulie today.
Yeah.
Buckle up, folks.
You'll be watching me rooting on whoever, Sadiq White.
He's going to be like, see? They're down 16. I told you this could work out well.
16 probably not going to cut it.
Okay. All right. We got to go. For Tim, for Paulie, I'm Steve. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.
And I'm Mike with Charles Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electrical. We're the nice guys.
Tune up your furnace before one of those cold Syracuse